What's up, horror fans and friends? Today I want to talk to you about the most deadly zombie virus I've ever had the pleasure of reading about. Now, I'm sure you've heard this phrase being thrown around plenty of times before. This is the deadliest virus. Why you wouldn't survive this virus outbreak? Why this is the worst zombie outbreak? But today, I'm going to tell you about the truly worst zombie outbreak. And at that, a zombie outbreak you might not be aware of. Today, friends, I would like to talk to you about Deceased. Now, a little preface. My three favorite things in life are horror, comics/manga, and anime. And Deceased is something that takes some of my favorite things and brings them together. You've got horror comics and superhero comics. I'm a big fan of DC, and I really like their horror comics. But today I want to tell you why you wouldn't survive it. So let's first go over how the infection spreads. This is what makes it so deadly. Now, a small bit of lore is that in the DC universe, there is a being known as the Black Flash, or the Black Racer, who is essentially the Grim Reaper for speedsters. When a speedster is at the end of their life, they will be taken into the Speed Force by the Black Racer, who is essentially death. Now, Doomsday, Darkseid wants to harness the power of the Black Racer to create the anti-life equation. The way the anti-life equation works, and what makes it so deadly, is it affects all technology on Earth. During day one of the outbreak, anybody who was on their phones, watching TV, watching the big screens in places like Japan, America, in places like New York, whether you were watching a laptop, playing a video game, even if you were looking at the screen on something like an air conditioning, a printer, a fax machine, a cellular telephone, you would begin to become infected, trying to scratch out your own eyes and clawing the flesh off your face before attacking anyone near you. And that's on day one. It takes them a good amount of time to realize it's the screens. So during this time, most of the world has had time to become infected because only the smartest people out there, such as Batman, if I remember correctly, he was the one who figured it out. It took Batman and the Bat family to figure out it was the screens. Now, we've just gone over on paper how the disease and how it spreads itself is deadly enough. Now let's throw into equation the next few days of the infection, where the superheroes begin to interact with their technology. One of the first to be infected, Green Lantern. He goes to take a call during a camping trip, and when he comes back, he is a zombie with a lantern ring. For those who aren't familiar with lantern rings and how they work, they essentially harness the power of the user's will to create constructs of hard light. Whatever you will into existence, gun, fist, knife, tank, helicopter, it will be. So essentially, you've got a zombie Green Lantern. That would be fine if it just stopped at that. I mean, he was with, Black Canary and Green Arrow at the time. But it doesn't stop at that. It continues until more and more superheroes are assimilated into the hive mind of the anti-life equation. And now I have to ask you, what's scarier than zombies? Special infected? Big, brutish zombies? Interdimensional zombies, like Call of Duty? I raise you one more. Super-powered zombies. That's right. Zombie superheroes, which is DC is no stranger to. They've had my favorite event in the comics, Blackest Night. They've had Deceased, they've had Dark Knight's Metal. They're no stranger to it. But what makes Deceased more deadly than, say, something like Blackest Night is they're not confined to a ring. They have the powers of whatever their original host's powers were, which at one point infects I believe, villain, I'm not super familiar with her, named Nightshade, who can pop in and out of reality to go wherever she wants, which means you're not even safe hiding. You could be in the mountains, since the infection can't cross water like in the comics. Until Nightshade rips open a portal, brings the infection to you, since you won't come to it. So essentially, we've gone over how it's really not survivable. It surely can't get worse, right? Wrong. So we've got zombies who can tear open portals into other dimensions. We've got zombies who can shoot lightning from the sky at alarmingly fast rates, infecting anyone it hits. So how could that get worse? The speedsters. Super speed-bearing zombies who can infect half of the globe in the time it takes you to blink. And in taking out these speedsters, we lose some of the greatest heroes that we had, like Superman. So with very little heroes left, who's left to save us? The answer is, there's really no way of being saved. And that, my friends, is why I say to you that Deceased is the worst apocalypse imaginable. Little side note, I forgot to mention, they also have kaiju-sized superheroes like Atom Smasher. But as always, I want to know what you thought. If you watched this point, comment DC. And if you liked it and want to stay up to date with daily horror content, consider subscribing and hit the notification bell. If you disliked it, share it with a friend or group chat to make fun of me and my stupid video, and I will see you in the next I almost said Dead by Daylight concept. Next horror video. Take care. God bless. Don't get infected.